Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to take this Corgi Ford Thunderbird from very shabby to shiny. This one looks like it's also been in, been in a flower bed. I think it's covered in crusty old dirt and mud, but what an absolute beauty of a design this car. One of my favourite American cars of all time. Now there's no drilling or tapping today because the rivets on this thing are humongous and they're also domed. So what I have to do is basically use the punch there, put a little indentation to the middle, and I'm able to actually use a really large drill bit, as you can see just then. But yeah, this is a nice casting. Got it as a part of an eBay kind of lot recently. And I'm not sure whether I've done an unboxing for this one. I must admit, I don't do unboxings for everything I buy. But this one, you know, when I see it in the picture, I thought that deserves a restoration. Or at least a customization. And I went to the community tab and kind of put it out to my Facebook page as well. What colour would you like to see this? And for the most part, people have said light blue or light green or pink even. Red or black or white would have been the easy options. And there was a couple of messages where it was like, everybody does red, everybody does white, or everybody does two-tone. Which reminds me, Danny over at Danny's Diecast Disasters did a similar car in red and white recently, so check that out if you haven't done already. It turned out to be beautiful, so if I can make this half as good as that one, I'll be very happy today. But just taking it apart there, obviously it just kind of almost fell apart once I removed those rivets. And then the rear axle just come out nice and easy. The front, not so much. And I'll show you later on, I did have to kind of, I guess, drill out a little bit in order for that axle to come out. I wanted to, remove the wheels and axles because I wanted to get all the paint off of that base and make it look nice and clean again. Cool white wheel tiles, or white walled tyres rather. I'll freshen those up later on. And the windscreen I was really concerned about. I didn't know whether this was kind of scratched or scored or melted. Thankfully it was just, I don't know, a little person's lunch, I think, from many years ago. Just smudged over there and it did manage to get it off. A little tyre rack for the back of the car. It's got a little rivet that needs to be taken off. And then some plastic rivets holding in the kind of grille section here, but I'll leave that in place and I'm going to chrome this as one piece. Rear bumper there with a bit of chrome missing, that'll get a bit of a chrome treatment later on. And then the kind of dashboard there, which is very cool. As you can see, the steering wheel is held in by a naughty bit of glue. Somebody didn't really pay too much care or attention putting that back in, so I'll have to remove that. Interior, a bit flimsy, a bit basic, but I think I'm going to do a colour change on that later on. And then the actual casting itself. So we've got the engine compartment. I'm just taking a little look how this comes out. And it's quite cool, it's got this little pokey thing, I think that's the correct terminology, where you just push it up from the base so you can easily open up the bonnet there or the hood. But I'll take that out so I can dump this all into the caustic soda shortly. And that's that rear piece there. I've just taken off the rivet. And the engine now has popped out and comes apart in a couple of pieces, so I can chrome one and detail out the other before putting it back in again. and that's the section there where I just used the Ehlers tool, just drilled it out a little bit. Plenty enough meat there for me to put the axle back in later. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plastic parts on this one. Give them a nice soapy bath. And then in my foot-long hot dog jar, we'll just cover the casting with boiling water and a couple of tablespoons of caustic soda. Certainly this is the most caustic soda I've ever used, but then this is the most water that I've ever used. So I still wanted to kind of bring up the alkali ratio in order to remove this paint. Otherwise I'd have had to have left it in there for, I don't know, hours on end, and hours I just do not have. You can see it there just bubbling away. Nice little reaction there. This is science. And to be honest, it's now cold to the touch. It's probably been, I would say, an hour. I left this doing its thing. I didn't want to move it because it was just, you know, too much volume for me to accidentally drop or break the glass or something. So I just thought, just leave it alone. Let it cool off at its own time, and yeah, I'll come back to it once it had cooled off. And at first I thought, blimey, it hasn't done anything. But you would have just noticed then that there at the bottom square is the whole hood. Just come off in one piece like that. And that's pretty much how it all come off. As I drained it, each panel, I guess, come off in one lump. So yeah, it really done its job really well. Good old caustic soda. And it leaves this oxidization, but it easily gets removed. Funnily enough, the only bit that it didn't seem to take it all off was this small piece here. But it does come off using the Ehlers tool and the steel wire end there. So now that the base is all polished up, we're using the black spray here from Tamiya, which I use for my bases. I think a few of the guys use this kind of paint for the bases. Makes life a lot easier, especially those of us that use our airbrush for painting. You know, just to paint that in black and then have to clean the whole thing out for the final body is a bit of a task. So where I can speed up time, save a little bit of time and money, I'm all for it. Nice little shine there. You know, I try and put out a video every couple of days for you guys. I work, well, 10 hours a day in a full-time job. Try and see the wife and kids for a bit, and then work on these videos for myself, of course, but for you guys watching at home. I do hope you enjoy them, because I could be down the pub, or I could be sat on my butt watching a movie, or asleep. I tend to get a lot less sleep nowadays. But oh yeah, I wanted to remind you, 2,000 likes on this video, and this car could be coming to you. And if you're one of my, I don't want to say OG subscribers, because it's only been in the last couple of months, I've been using a Matchbox slurry. Basically any paint that gets left over gets chucked into a into this little jar, and it's kind of like the colour that I've got, right? And I've painted a few cars, whatever this colour has kind of come out to be, and well, today's no exception. Other than I'm going to use a heavy white base, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this just to give it, just to give the white a tinge of colour. Like I say, when I went to my Facebook page and also the community tab, for the most part people were saying either a light blue or a light green, and the Matchbox slurry has a little bit of it all. So if I add this to the white to give it a bit of a taint, I think that's going to be pretty nice body colour. And then what I'll use to contrast is I'll actually use the Matchbox slurry for the interior. And as I look at it now, sitting beside me, yeah, it looks pretty nice. At least I think so anyway. So there's the kind of light greeny, light bluey, light aqua, light turquoise kind of colour. And I'm very happy with that. I think it suits this era, this style of car perfectly. I must admit, these larger scales are a little bit difficult to paint. They're quite heavy, you know, large. And when I'm trying to hold on to one kind of corner of the casting, yeah, it makes for quite an interesting thing. If you would have seen recently, Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, he had something, I can't remember what it was now, was it a truck? But it was a larger kind of size. Oh, that's right, it was like a car transporter, and it turned out wicked. Check it out if you haven't done already. So that's Outlaw Speed Shop, Keith. And no, I put a message on there because you know, I laughed, but only because I know what it feels like. Because you hold these, and as you can see, as I turned it around, I was thinking, please don't do it, Keith, please don't do it, Keith, and basically drop the casting whilst it's covered in wet paint, because I think, similar to Keith, you just want to smash the place up and kind of give up YouTube, really. But you just got to try and keep calm, and you know, it's only a casting, it's only a little bit of extra paint, it's only a little bit of extra time, and you move on. But yeah, he left it in there for our enjoyment. So here's to you, Keith, mate, if you're watching this. I didn't drop this one today, but like I say, I certainly have done in the past, and yeah, it's not the best thing to do. But anyway, there's the first coat, and I put on 3 coats eventually. And here is the Matchbox slurry colour. This has honestly got probably 30 different colours mixed in. Name the colour, it's in there. And this is what it's coming out like at the moment. And I think it is a wicked colour. And I'll cover the whole interior. I liked the kind of two-tone with the centre of the seats, so I do go back later on and put a slightly different colour into the centres of the seats, just a contrast. I used like a Sharpie pen with like a coppery colour. But anyway, here's the plastics now. Like I say, it's all had just a bit of a bath, and I'm going to tidy up each piece as best as I can. And just, you know, this is a custom, but it's not a crazy custom. It's kind of, I guess, more of like a restoration plus. You know, this car could have come out at the time. I think most people would have been very happy with this colour combination that I've done on it today. But here's the liquid chrome pen that I'm going to be using, and get to work on all these chrome pieces, which, to be honest, took me far too long. I reckon I was on them for an hour. But anyway, here's the screen now. As you can see, that's come out wicked. And now everything is dry. You can see I put a bit of detail on our engine there. The wheels obviously had the chrome and touched up in the white walls. And there's what I mean about the interior there, where I put the kind of colour on the insert. And the dashboard, you see I put a little bit of silver into the little dials and stuffs. Chromed up the chrome. Nothing much to see there. Obviously I've got to put that back on the tyre cover there, and I just glue that back into place. And the base looking good, and the main casting looking shiny. Now there's a few more extra details I'm going to put on once I put this back together. But as a little reminder of what she looked like. And this is the result. So the little details to look for. You can see a little bit of chrome in the front there, on the actual Thunderbird, the door handle, the lock. Around the back there, painted in the rear tail lights. Yeah, you can imagine those little chrome details took a very steady hand. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. But anyway, thanks to my patrons, supporters. You guys are beautiful. And thank everybody else for watching. Like the video, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.